just to make this quick, I guess straight to the point once again here. Most of everything that I actually discussed in the first scholar discussion pretty much still applies. However, there are some additional things that I have learned as of late. One thing being that Ruin 2 and Energy Drain do have a use. In fact, you're supposed to use them in tandem with one another. Let's go ahead and just get straight to this here. We'll go ahead and get her out here. The reason why is it specifically has to do with the opener that Scholar uses. Because you're trying to dump basically as much damage as possible, like straight into it. So the idea is that when you use Ether Flow and you're just trying to dump this, you want to Ruin 2, which is 220 potency, into Energy Drain, which is 100 potency, which makes it a total of, what, 320, as opposed to Broil 4, which is 295. So that would be the key use of what you would use it for. However, I still do think that Dissipation is just a bad ability. I don't even know what this is for, because you lose your fairy and only your GCD healing spells get affected as opposed to everything, so it's not even worth it. You'd think that since it gets rid of the fairy and then gives you Ether Flow stacks, that your Ether Flow stacks abilities would get enhanced, but that's not the case. Instead, what happens is only, Adloquium, only Sucker, and what? I think those are the only two that get affected. And I guess Physic, if you want to even care about Physic. No one uses Physic. Which is questionable, but that's the main one that has been altered. Another as of late is it is a good idea to use Ruin 2 in tandem with Biolysis, like while the tank is moving and you're moving, so that way you don't have to stop. You can just be spamming Ruin 2, so it does have a use there as well, because you're mobile. Seraph is good at high end, but outside of high end, Seraph also doesn't have a use unless it's like an emergency case scenario. Otherwise, everything pretty much still applies, but with this new information, I can actually go into a dungeon here and we can very quickly just establish the new things that we've noticed, that it's for. But keep in mind still that Dissipation, I still say, is really bad. And if they really wanted this to be used the way that people are using it, or if they see that way that people are using it, which is just for damage, they should just make it for damage. There's not really an alternate use for it, because no one's really going to do anything with it. Because overall, no one's going to use Dissipation and then try to GCD heal as opposed to just having the fairy out. So that way the fairy can heal instead. And that's a part of the core problem. So we're just going to go ahead and I guess we'll hop into one and then we'll see how it goes. Just to go ahead and see overall, Scholar is still, in my opinion, the lazy healer. So we'll just very quickly hop in one right quick, because it's not going to take that long. See, got one immediately. Oop, I forgot. I like to have that ready just to give people encouragement. As long as morale is up with the party, everyone typically performs better. Oh, I didn't change my thing. Oh well, that's fine. Because mine's reverted to the default because I forgot to alter my thing. And then as soon as we get out, I'll use add low on them. Okay, all assist. Ether flow to get our mana back, get this going. Throw this on them. Emergency tactics. Get another heal off, and then we'll use this to give them a big barrier, and then I just go off to doing whatever. Now I literally don't have to worry about it. Because you see, by that time, everyone's like kind of dead. They plunged in, so I might get a little bit of aggro, but it won't matter. They seem to know exactly what they're doing, so they'll be fine. Traction. I'll actually get off some of these. Another ether flow. Get that off, and then back to what we were doing. Is our minding our business here. Throw in no heal. We'll go ahead and get them a barrier too. Why not? Get an emergency tactics prepped for any healing that they need. This is why they need Bane. Because they could just throw Biolysis on them and then just Bane them instead. Notice how he's almost dead. And he's literally still in his phases. He hasn't even completed everything yet, and he's literally almost dead. Everyone's on their A game, it seems. So this is like just a typical dungeon. Oh, am I messed up? Yeah, I did. I'm hella dead. I was looking the wrong way. They were coming from the right, and I was looking to the left because the right was the last one. You have to watch for the tethers and where the tethers go. Because if you don't look for those, then like you're gonna screw up and do what I just did and die like a dumb. Everything's cool though, because I mean it's literally at the end, and they didn't even need me anymore right there. Swift cast summon Celine. This is gonna be easy. This is recitation. Straight into this. Big barriers. Spread it. Doesn't help the fact that this is kind of a meta, like dungeon, like group, where we've got a Dark Knight, a Reaper, a Black Mage, and a Scholar. So like this is like max, like one of the more max damage ones, where everyone's just gonna DPS everything to death. Because Scholar has very little like downtime on damage, so they are pretty much almost always doing it. I can get that extra healing on them. You know what they really probably should do is they can replace Dissipation with like a temporary Cleric Stance like ability. That's what they need to do. Oh, you don't want to give Scholars... You need to give Scholars the ability to deal damage, because that seems to be their shtick. They just like being able to deal damage. Well, why not? I don't see a reason for them not to deal it. Throw that on them, throw this, and then I just basically stand around, minding my business. If they get too low, it'll proc. We'll be fine. Look at that, they don't even get that low. You see why I say it's a lazy healer? I'm not doing anything. I'm just using Art of War and using OGCDs like in between. It's not like White Mage where they just one big heal. It's just a whole bunch of OGCDs that just upkeep. And then they don't even need it. Look. Already full again. Give them a big barrier. Heal that little bit. And just basically stand around. Throw this down. Activate this. Watch them heal. It still never procced. It literally had to waste its whole duration in order to proc. That was fast. Props to the Dark Knight. They were hella geared, they had to have been. And to the DPS's shoot. I expected DPS to deal damage really good, but a Dark Knight that can cycle their rotations and do their damage properly, that's an easy calm. But yeah, not too complicated, straight and to the point. It's in a good spot. Does a lot of damage, and it all takes is literally just doing this, an energy drain. Now you'd be surprised at how big that is when you activate this. And just do this repeatedly. And then that's what dissipation is for, is to do during that window. That's what it's really for. But yeah, just a small update. Not really too many changes. Everything else still applies. So hopefully you have a good one. I appreciate you watching.